All right, so I'm back again in Little Birds by Odessa Begay. Love this book. We've talked about it for 2 or 3 times now. Anyway, I went ahead and finished off my brown table, and then I was just now looking, and do you see it? All the way up here. I missed that one. So I am just going to pick up any of the browns and scoochy some color in there. Yeah, scoochy. Why not? Anywho, as long as it's in there, I'm going to be all right. So what I want to talk about now is our pear. All right, I am still using the Crayola pencils. I've used it on all of this. I do like the way that it has gone. It's turning out nicely. I am really debating on leaving these little bits white. Just because I don't know. I just don't know. And I don't feel like I have to finish something if I just don't have the answers yet. Does that make sense? So anyway, one thing I am going to do is take a look at that pear. Now pears are green on the outside, but they're not just one shade of green. So I should have done this ahead of time. I'm going to sharpen my pencil. If you've not seen my homemade travel pencil sharpener, it's a few videos back. You can go back and catch that. Yeah, it's held up good. I've been using it all the time. Anyway, on this pear, I am going to come in. This is olive. Good question. Thank you. And I'm just going to come in with several different greens. And because the brown went in a little bit right there, it just made it a very easy spot to go ahead and do in that darker green. I'm going to do it up in here. I'm getting lighter as I come out. All right, so lighter as I come out. And they're not always just one shade. There's several different shades when you go to looking at fruit and nature. So there's not going to be a great rhyme or reason as to how I get this on. The main thing is going to be blending light to medium to dark to medium to light. This is jade green, so I'm just going to come along next to that one and put some of this jade in there. Let's have it come all the way down to here, just because. No real reason. And because it's sliced, I don't have to reconnect this. It can stop abruptly at the edge. The coloring can. You know how usually we'll try to connect things or something. Doesn't have to. The piece of fruit is just cut open, and that's it. It just is what it is. So now I'm going to come in with palm leaf. And now I'm getting more to the color of what I think of when I think of a pear. And I'm going to use this palm leaf to go over everything. While I've got a good point on it, I'm going to go into the little areas. Make sure I get those. This green palm leaf actually feels like a softer lead than the others. You'll notice that as you're coloring. You'll have one color and you'll feel like maybe it's a little scratchy, and then you'll be going along and all of a sudden another color in the same brand will feel super creamy, and you'll be like, this makes no sense, but it's just the way it is. So there's my pear. Okay, that's the skin of the pear anyway. So very easy, just coming through here. No real rhyme or reason where the color is. Just getting the color on and making sure I have approximately the right shades. All right, lay those down. Pick up these two greens. I've got green and I've got shamrock. So I'm going to use shamrock on the tip down here. I just want the stem to be a little different. Not the stem, the leaf. Thank you. Yeah, it's getting late here, and I have been getting used to going to bed at 9:30 or 10, probably closer to 10. And I think it's probably a little bit past that. I'm going to go darker down this side, just so that it looks like it's a little bit folded there. All right. And then I left that tip lighter. I'm going to go back and pick up that same light green from here and pull it over to here. So I'm working with palm leaf. The reason for that, if I share the same green, it just kind of helps pull it all together some. And again, I'm going to go over the whole thing. See how it doesn't stick out, as it almost looked a little foreign to it a while ago because the greens are so different. But if one of the greens in there overlaps and is used on both items, it'll just make them feel more cohesive. And that's not a hard and fast rule. It's just helping with the piece of fruit I have. I've got a stem. The stem's going to be brown, but I've got so much stuff going on already with brown that I pulled a dark brown because I really want it to show up on this background. Yeah, I'm not doing any second color blending or anything, at least not right now. I could actually, let me see if I have white right here. Here's a white gel pen. This says glaze on it, so I bet that's not what I'm looking for. Here's a white. It's even got some glitter in it, but that's all right. If I just start there, come down slightly. Okay, you can't see that probably, but I can. Let me go ahead and use this glaze, and let's see what it does. If it makes it easier for you to see it. There's a little knobby piece on the end. I had to get that off. Okay, so it's just a little watery looking, but hey, this is what I was really looking for. The Uniball Signo. All right, and it's actually white. Now that I've gone over that like 3 or 4 times, there. So it's just like a little white highlight, but I'm sure it's not showing up much to you. But anyway, on to the seeds. Now, something I really should have done was looked up pears before I got started. So hang on. I am going over to my paint books. I didn't leave. I'm looking to see if there's a picture of a pear in this book real quick. And if there is, I could show it to you. And I'm not seeing one. So this just shows you real time how much time goes into some of these. Yeah, the only pear I'm seeing is a yellow pear and not one that's sliced open. So that really does us absolutely zero good. Zilch, none, nothing, nada. Okay, so I got nothing for you on that one. So what I was wondering is, I believe the seeds are going to be brown, but not as brown as that stem. So I'm going to come in, and you could either do your seeds in there, or you could do it like a dark creamy color as if the seeds had been pulled out, and it's just that concave little hole that's left in there where the seeds used to be. So I just used cocoa. Yeah, it's one of the browns that was laying here. Now, for the rest of this, I am going to come in with white and just do a quick coating. You're not even really going to see it, but it's going to put some white on the tooth of that paper. And that's what I'm really wanting, is just a quick go over so that when I introduce my next color, it'll have something to blend with. Because if I didn't do it, I was just going to be up next to the paper with all the tooth, and there'd be no blending. And I can see a difference between these two. I don't know if you can or not, but I can. Now, when you cut into a piece of fruit, and I'm pulling a little bit of the brown right there from outside, I'm okay with that, because that's what I was fixing to tell you. When you cut into fruit, unless you drop it into some sort of lemon juice or a clear soda, soda, Sprite, 7-Up, ginger ale, something like that, it is going to turn brown. That's why a lot of times, I don't know about where you live, but here, and see, I'm okay, that brown smeared in there, that's all right. I'm not too worried about it. But yeah, whenever parents here sometimes cut fruit up for the kids for school, they'll pop those two halves or quarters or whatever back together, put a rubber band around it. It keeps all the moisture together, and only down through the middle where the core is missing will turn. The rest of it will still stay fresh. So if anybody cared for that little tidbit of information, it just helps the fruit be more pleasant looking. And then also you can just dip it, like I said, into one of the clear sodas or something. Now this color is almond. It's not a big difference, but it's going to be slight. And I'm coloring from that bit just out some. Just because when you do cut into fruit, it's not all just solid. You're going to get little bits of color and imperfections. In fact, here I'm going to go all the way around that. I'm going to go ahead and do this centerpiece too, just because it does need some color down through there. All right, and I know the pencil's getting in the way a little bit. I'm trying to at least keep my hand out of the way. But anyway, just take and put in a little bit of other color in with that white, just so that it doesn't look like you forgot to color it. Just scoot in some color. You don't have to be real particular on this. You know, you don't have to go get a piece of fruit, cut it open and all that. But anyway, I'm calling that finished. I'm okay with that. So now the next part I want to look at is this mat. Excuse me. I pulled some grays and a dark brown. The dark brown, first of all, is going to be for up in here. Now, when we look at this, do you see how we're seeing it here and it's up overlapped here? That would insinuate the shadow is up here at the top, because we're seeing this side, it's leaning that way. But then when we see this, it's just not realistic. I don't know. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take and put in some dark right there. Just like there's a shadow. This is dark brown, still in the Crayola pencils, dark brown. Just laying a little shadow in there on that wood. Okay? Now, when I get to the plate, that shadow would be right here. But then there'd also be shadow up in here. There'd be shadow up here. So I don't want to make that with the dark brown because I'm no longer on a brown. So I am going to go over to Timberwolf. I use Timberwolf a lot. Okay? It's a gray, but it is so close to white. So close. So I'm going to bring this down and then just come out. I'm not even sure you can see that. So let's zoom in some. See if I can get that to be clear enough for you. A lot of times it likes to go out of focus when I zoom in that far. So if it does, I'm sorry. Just coming out. Whoops. That was my hand bumping the camera stand. You know, the videos are still so much better than when I first started. But I feel like I still have a long way to go in developing something that works good for me. Alright, so I came out some with that. See there? And this is not one of the softer leaded pencils. Alright, I'm going to stand up and see. Yeah, you can see that some. Let me turn this. There we go. So I'm going to come on around with this. And even though my shadow is not going to be as big here, I still want to just give a little bit of shadow just because this is going to be a lot of white. Alright? So then from there, I'm going over to warm gray. And I'm going to come in right next to that little saucer and just put in a little bit of color. You know, a while ago I came all the way out to here with it. This time I'm going to stay in closer. I just want my shadow to be smaller as I get underneath the edge and then larger as I come out. And you really shouldn't be able to see where it transitions to white. I'm back to the lighter of the two shades again. I'm back on Timberwolf. Yeah, that's not a natural direction for my hand to travel. Okay? So, let me lift this if I can do it without banging everything around in here. Will it focus good for us? Come on, focus for me. Right there, you can see where I did the shading. Alright, that kind of shows it there. Now, I'm going to go back out. Okay, there we go. Turn the book back around. So can you see the difference in this side and this side? This side has no shading. This side does. Alright, and like I said, because there's so much white on here and I want to leave that white, I am going to go ahead and shade all the way around here. I'm not going to pay attention as to which way that cup's going, as to where the shadows should be, because I don't think this picture is really drawn that way. All right, then I'm going to come in with the darker of the two and just finish getting this shadow in there. Remember, I didn't want to use a gray. I had thought about using purple. Remember, we talked about that? And then I just decided I'm going to go with the gray instead anyway. Trying to get my hand up in here without hitting the camera. I'm just bringing that out a little bit further. Okay? And then I would do that around this plate. And I would also do it all the way around the spoon. And that's really, I know the bird. I don't know what color to do the bird yet either. So again, when you don't know what color to do something, never feel like you just absolutely have to go ahead and do it. Just leave it. Leave it and come back to it. It's not going anywhere. This picture's not a gift for somebody that it's going to get torn out and framed. So it's just for me. Therefore, I don't have to finish it. There's no deadline. You know, if I'm doing a painting for somebody and they specify they want a bird in it or they want a certain flower in it, then I have to go ahead and figure out that coloring and get that done. But again, this is not for anybody. It's for fun. So I don't have to figure it out tonight. I can come back to it whenever I want. Plus, if I'm doing it for someone, I've already figured out what their favorite colors are and probably already know what color that bird's going to be. So, but you're getting the idea here. See, we're just mimicking the same thing out here, but it even lighter. Okay? So just keep working on it if you're doing this page also. And then, did you see how these two run together? Yeah. That's all right. It needs to. And here, my shadow is going to be a little bit smaller. Whoops. Sorry about that. At least I caught it, huh? So here, the shadow is going to be smaller. It's not going to be as wide as what I did up around the plates because that spoon handle is thinner. Okay, that would be totally unrealistic to have a big, huge shadow going around this. But I can keep a very small one and it still be okay. And again, if I were doing this, realistically, I would have a shadow just on probably, we'll probably do the back side here, but that's not seen. So maybe it is under the edge. And then just down one side of the spoon. But you do your shadows all on the same side. You wouldn't jump back and forth and put shadows everywhere. Okay? Again, I'm not trying to be realistic on this one. I'm just trying to break up some of this white that we have going on in the background. And you could change that by not leaving a white background. You want to take the time to go ahead and color all that, go for it. It could be beautiful. You could do that in a, you could totally change up the dishes and everything and do this background in some sort of a plaid or a check. It would be very pretty. Yeah, why not? So, totally up to you. Totally, yeah. Your picture. No coloring, please. So, anywho, I was going to show you those other pictures I've been working on from the cruise, and I just haven't worked on them a whole lot. We're having a baby shower at my house Saturday for a new grandbaby. And just because I was the one with the house that would hold everybody, I'm not actually giving it, I'm just providing the house. Our daughter's actually giving it for her sister-in-law. Very sweet daughter. Anywho, I've been cleaning house and doing other things instead of coloring. We went to the state fair yesterday and walked about, I think my husband said we had 12, 13,000 feet, something like that. Yeah, it was huge. By the time we got home, I was like, I just want to sit. But it was good for us. So anyway, that's what I've got on this page. Now hang on, I'm going to move the camera. So that's what I have now for the finished page. And it's finished for me for now until I decide what to do with the bird. And I keep leaning towards purple, but I don't know if that might be a little too bright for the plates. So, gonna wait. All right, hope you enjoyed. I hope to get more regular with these videos. I'm thinking that really good days for me are Tuesdays and Fridays, but so far I have not stuck with that, so we'll just have to see. My main goal is twice a week, so whenever they come out, surprise! All right, thanks for watching, subscribe, and thanks for you that are donating. Talk to you later. Bye.